All right. Thanks for sticking around. Like I said, we'll keep this to a half an hour. One of the nice things about of having it scheduled kind of every 2 weeks, or one of the things that we always want to do is celebrate the wins. I think so often we say this is what we're going to do, and we never follow up, or we never go back and thank God for the wins of the last month or two of ministry. So last month, or in January when we had Family Forum, these were some of the things that we talked about, and I just want to say we thank God. Discovery Day was our Schools Out Discovery Day, so we had 14 kids come to that, 2 of whom had never been in a church before, so that was really neat. And but we're thankful for, so Vicar did a great job heading that up, but also Melissa Borst she's breaking Allie's geode there on the ground, and so just a very informative day as the kids learned about various rocks and nature here. Other things that happened over the last couple of months that we thank him for is Women's Bible Study happened again. Thanks to Mary for leading that in February. A Friends in Need team has been established to help to have more of an organized way to deal with people either that have financial needs or people that have needs like transportation needs or helping around the house, handyman stuff. So there'll be a way if you have a need or if you know if someone needs something, whether it's your neighbor or your friend, contact church, and then there's a way to get the people that are involved in that, including prayers. We don't want to ever underestimate that. So like a prayer warrior team. Are you heading that up? So thanks for Brooke for heading that up, but that's a wonderful tool to use. We began a starting point. That's our introduction to the Bible. So we have 3 people that are going through that. April and Alberta and Chris are going through that, so that's wonderful. We talked about last time you kind of gave your nod of approval that we should go for a vicar again, so that request is in. We'll find out in 2 weeks if we receive a vicar. So 2 weeks from today, we should know whether or not we'll get a vicar next August to August. And then we had service Sundays. Thanks for all the handiwork that you guys have done the last couple of weeks. So that's off to a good start. Next Sunday, again, a reminder, come in your grubbies. We'll be cleaning up the park after church, Silver Lake Park right up here. And then the location search team is hard at work. So far, they've been striking out as far as finding another place. So our lease is up a year from now. There's an opportunity we might be able to extend that lease. We're hoping that at least. But there's no other. They've been striking out as far as another location, a physical building that exists that would meet our needs. And they've looked into eight land parcels so far. And, so there's maybe some possibilities there that they're looking at. But again, the idea is if it's everybody's eyes working here. So if you see either a location, a building, or a land, contact Joe Henry's been leading that charge, but there's 4 people that are really doing the homework for the various areas of the North Valleys. All right, 5G, you see all these commercials for 5G. That's kind of how I divide up when I think about our ministry plan, so I'll touch base on each one of these. Gather, grow, group, give, and go. Gather really has to do with worship, and so here's some blessings of the last couple of months and coming up, or more of the ministry plans. We have a Palm Sunday choir that is practiced again today, so that'll be our first time we're having a choir. That's a big deal, actually. So a reminder, you can still join. We haven't practiced too much yet. 8:40 to 9:10, practice the next couple Sundays. We'll sing on Palm Sunday. Holy Week schedule, I'll send out something with that. But Holy Week Easter is April 17th. And so that week is kind of a week to set apart, and that's what the word holy means. So there'll be Palm Sunday, kicks it off on April 10th. But then there's Holy Thursday or Maundy Thursday, where we celebrate Holy Communion, or Jesus starting Holy Communion. That'll be a joint services between the 3 churches. That'll be held at the Springs. Good Friday is April 15th. That will be here at 7 p.m. And then there's also, it's called an Easter Saturday or Easter Vigil service, which kind of reviews the whole story of the Old Testament leading up to Jesus. That's a joint service that's at Shepherd of the Mountains on Saturday evening. And then Easter Sunday will be here at 9:30. God willing, we'll be outdoors again to handle the crowds. So that'll be. And then other things to keep on your radar. Ascension is May 26th. That's the day that Jesus ascended into heaven. That's also a joint worship opportunity for Reno churches. We host that because that also marks the 3-year anniversary of us kind of commissioning our first group of people here to become a congregation. So that's always a nice anniversary thing for us. And then we've been blessed to have Emily as our worship coordinator. I guess some news is that Emily has chosen, she's been accepted into a master's program at University of Wisconsin-Madison. So congratulations to her on that. But that also means come July 31st will be her last Sunday with us. So that role will just be deleted about that week. Between Vicar and Maddie and Emily will all be gone about the same time. So while we're sad, we are also thankful for the year. But that means also we kind of begin the search of options of what we do going forward. Whether it's finding a diamond in the rough like we found Emily, or whether it's using electronic or using other musicians along the way from the other churches, or some of you are going to become experts in the next, you got 5 months to practice and to take over. All right. So that's some news. I handed out a sheet to you. You can either fill this out today, or I'll also send out an electronic survey later on this week. I would like you to think about this. What is the best part should be of our current worship experience? What do you think is the best part of what happens here on a Sunday morning with Gather Ministry? And then, or it doesn't have to be Sunday, it could be Thursday, or it could just be worship in general. And then what is one thing we could do to make our worship experience better? So if you want to give some thought to that, jot that down on the sheet, or like I said, I'll send out an electronic version later. Any questions on Gather Ministry or comments? All right. Then we move on to Grow, or spiritual growth, Bible study, personal Bible study as well. Some of the plans, so Thursday, we always have a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Worship, or 10 a.m. Bible study. That group just said we want to start looking at Acts. So April 21st through May 26th, we'll spend those weeks looking at Acts 2, or the second half of Acts, the life and ministry of the Apostle Paul. We're also going to be starting growth groups. Again, those are meant to be small group. It's a Bible study, but also a fellowship time. And those evenings will vary depending on who signs up. We'll try to do something that accommodates whoever is interested in that. And I encourage that. That's a great way to meet other people on a more social level, but also to kind of review the week's sermon, so kind of let the sermon marinate throughout the week. So that we're going to be starting that during the Easter season, the weeks right after Easter. Will serve as a Bible study. And Going Home is the name of our worship series at that time. All these ideas of going home to heaven, what Easter wins for us. And then in summer, last year we started the Psalms of Summer. We looked at Book 1, which was Psalms 1 through 41. This year we'd be looking at Psalms 42 to 72. Those are standalone. So I know a lot of people travel during the summer, so we try to keep something that says, hey, okay, you don't have to build on it from each week. So that's why it works well for summer schedules. But those will be weeks of June 5th through August 28th. Again, I guess I do have a preference check for you there. What is your preferred time for summer Bible study? Would you like to do it on Sunday mornings? Tie it with worship either before or after. We'll keep them to 45 minutes, so 8:15 to 9 or 10:45 to 11:30. Or would you rather have it on like a midweek, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. perhaps? Or Thursday throughout as an option at 6 p.m.? That would be tie-in. If people come to Thursday night worship, they could go to Bible study from 6 to 6:45 and then have worship at 7. So if you want any input that you would have on that, I would love to know that heading into summer. Questions, comments on Bible study, on Grow Ministry? Again, I'm looking for all your input to be on paper so I don't forget what you say. But all right. Then group life. Locked into hiking, that Jeff Locke is going to lead some hiking expeditions. We had just kind of said when the weather gets better, we maybe, which is a relative term because Jeff would be out any day of the week if it's 25 degrees out or not. But maybe April 10th or April 24th, perhaps after worship, or. But Jeff is willing to lead some easy hike, not his style, something that he thinks we could handle. All right. So we're happy for that. Easter breakfast. Some people have asked. Some people have Easter breakfast at a church. I guess that's a question that it's also on your sheet. Do we want an Easter breakfast? April 17th. I am not going to be involved in the breakfast. I'll be preaching that day. I'll eat the breakfast, but I'm not going to organize it or cook. But if that's something we want to do, we have to make that decision pretty soon here. I guess I'd prefer after than before, just because there's enough. If we have outdoor, there'll be enough setting up and that type of thing before the service. So, it'd be looking for like a 10:30 to 11 or 10:30 to 11:30. We're somewhat limited with our kitchen facilities, so whoever's organizing, it's not like you're going to be necessarily using an oven. But there's other ways. Does anybody have a strong thought on that one way or another today? Yes or no? Everybody knows if they say yes, that means you're in charge. But you're right, that's the thing, is that there's people have family commitments too, and we don't want to take away from those, but it also can be yeah. Right. And I would say, I love the idea of it. Personally, I love the idea of an Easter breakfast, that it gives fellowship. What I would speak against it, I'm giving both sides here. I don't want people to be, the whole Mary Martha thing. That you miss. I don't want anybody to miss Easter worship because they're flipping pancakes. At the same time, it can be a wonderful blessing. Oh yeah, there you go. Just bring your Eggo waffle and yeah, we could do that too. So we're not going to get into the details right now. I want to know if we want one. All right, so think about that. Give me write down your choice, and then we'll. So would you attend an Easter breakfast? And maybe there's a follow-up. If yes, then be part of the planning. Then also, if you'd like to try a growth group, there's some questions on your sheet there for that. Other fellowship questions or comments? Group life? Again, just always an encouragement. It doesn't need to be church sponsored. If you want to say, hey, we're all going to Tahoe this afternoon, whoever wants to go, great, or we're all going to whatever. We're all going to Pizza Palace or Pizza Factory for lunch. Feel free to invite. Do all the fellowships things on your own as well. Give. 5, going into the next line. Who's that guy? Best beard in the world, right? We're going to start a beard growing competition. And no. Who is this guy? This is actually my great-great-great-grandfather, I think. Maybe great-great-great-great, somewhere along the line. His name is Johan Krasine. Why do I use him? I never met him. But he was always a big name in my home church because what he did was he donated 80 acres of land that became the place where the church now stands, and the school and the church woods. It's the only church that I think has a church woods with an amphitheater in it. Why do I bring them up? Not to say, oh, look at what my great-great-grandfather did. But it's an example of the fact that I know who he is, and I knew what his picture looked like, and it's not to his glory, but the opportunity to leave a legacy that what he did 100, almost 80 years ago now, continues to affect the ministry of 1,000 people and 150 kids in school every day. And I use that as an example of the first thing you see there. I mentioned it briefly in a Bible study or in worship a couple weeks ago, but blessed to bless, that what a neat thing that we had someone say, you know what, I want to help this congregation for years to come, and they offered $100,000, up to $100,000 of matching gifts for our ministry. And as we talked with the leaders from the other congregation about that gift, to say that maybe if Light of the Valleys people could come up with 50 and the other two congregations could come up with 50, or maybe it's going to be 53 and 47, whatever it is. There's no, okay. But that goal over the next year, so between now and December 31st, the family that's offering the gift, they held out December 31st as their target. I guess I would ask each of us to pray about that. And this doesn't mean, this isn't a shift of funds from our normal giving or from our future. We already have some set aside for future, but this would really be something that could put us in a good position for future ministry. That could be land, or it could be a building, or it could be whatever. That, who knows, it might affect people 180 years down the road. And maybe someday you'll have your picture with your beard up there for Johan Krasine. And that's not the purpose for which we do it, but I just want to say, what a neat thing. What a neat thing that we have an opportunity not just to affect the 40 people that were here this morning, but as we support ministry, future ministry, how God might use each and every one of us is a cool thing. So pray about that. I know that's a steep challenge, approximately 50,000, in addition to what our congregation already gives on a normal basis. But maybe we have stocks, or maybe we have other savings, that it's just a good opportunity for us to review how God could use us for that purpose. Some of the other opportunities, we had brought this up a few months ago, and then it fell through because of COVID. The Veterans Guest Home, which is for families at the VA, that is opening up now, and so we are able to serve them once a month starting in April for 6 months. So I know a few have already signed up. Kathleen is heading that up, but if you are interested in saying, hey, yeah, I can either help prepare a meal for the families that are there, or I can go and serve the meal, that's on your sheet as well. Prayer warriors, I already talked about that, so we're excited that we have people that are dedicating time to prayer. If you want to be a prayer warrior, let us know. And then part of Give is not just our service, but also our financial ministry plan. Just like to be transparent about how we're doing things. Our fiscal year goes from July 1, so we're 2/3 in, 8 months through the fiscal year. And that's how much offerings have been given in thousands. So Light of the Valleys there's been $74,000 given from our people over the last 8 months. So we're just shy of usually about $9,000 a month. But then we also get supported by our national church body Wells, so $55,000, Shepherd of the Mountains $37,000, and other gifts was $5,000. So currently we're supporting about 47% of our ministry expenses that it takes to carry out ministry in this area. And our goal is by like 2031 to be 100% us. So Shepherd of the Mountains support is planned to lessen each year, and Wells will lessen each year so that as we grow up, we can support ourselves. And so we're at 47%. So we have opportunities to grow, but we're actually on a pretty good pace for that. Does anybody have any questions on either this or this? Okay. A question I'd be curious about, should we utilize, we've just kept the offering plates back there ever since COVID, and I know a lot of people are using electronic. Should we, do you have a strong opinion, should we use the offering plates as part of worship? We don't use that phrase around here. Okay. There is value to that. Any strong, or again, you can fill this out. You don't have to speak up to this, but this is a question on your sheet that I'd be curious about there's pros and cons. Sometimes it can be, I'll use myself as an example. I give electronically. And so then when that plate comes by me and I don't put anything in, then I feel bad every time, which I shouldn't, because it's between me and God. It's not what everybody else is thinking about me. But it is also part of our worship. And so I think that's the danger if it's just not part of our process. Right. Right, and again, that is a demonstration of it. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, if you give electronically, that's your worship when you're clicking a button. Right. There's an efficiency of having it back there. Here's I give electronically. Yeah. I know. Right. Right. That's the point too. Right. Yep. Right. Yeah, we've done that too. So put down your thoughts on the paper, and we'll take your thoughts into consideration as we go forward. And then the last thing, so gospel outreach. Thank you for everybody who made these seed packets last week. I guess I would encourage you to take at least 2. Your challenge is everybody to give at least 2, plant the seed. So these are Easter invitations that you can use to the people in your life. So they're seed packets, but then also have that information on there. So these will be back there between now and Easter, but take 2 today. We're within a month of Easter, so we certainly want to encourage that. You also packaged some candy, and you've been egged bags. We are going to deliver those. I'll have a list of people to deliver those to. Just hang them on their doorknobs. The week of April 3rd through the 9th is when we'll be delivering those. And so if that's something that you would like to help in. LeaderCast is more of like a business leadership, or not just business, but it's a organization, a national organization that is meant to help people be leaders. So it's what happens is there's a big stadium in Cincinnati where they have a live event, and then they simulcast it out to 800 locations around the globe. I've gone to these in the past, and I've always gleaned something from it. It's not spiritual, it's not religious, it's just, okay, here's one of the keynote names is LeVar, Reading Rainbow guy. What's his name? LeVar Burton is he's one of or they have astronauts, or they have CEOs of Amazon, or they have athletes, or they have politicians. But it's an all-day event. And like I said, I've been blessed to be in auditoriums with hundreds of people. There was nothing in this area, so I was going to kick it out just to see how it would work and how we would host it possibly. And as a trial run, we have once a month our area pastors get together. It's a circuit meeting, so like people from Penryn and Citrus Heights. I said I'll let them be my guinea pigs to get all the kinks out. But I purchased 15 tickets, and so far only 6 pastors have committed to that. So there's 9. There's $75 to attend to get our money back, because we had to pre-purchase the tickets months ago. But if any of you are interested, or if you know of anybody that would just like to come, it actually counts as continuing education credits for anybody in HR, or sometimes real estate people get continuing education credits. So you walk away with a certificate that some businesses say you always have to do these things. But if you know of anybody, or if you're interested yourself, please let me know as soon as possible, and we'll get you the registration stuff. But that'll be Wednesday, May 4th. And then soccer camp, June 6th through 9th. This Thursday, there's a planning committee meeting at 6 o'clock, but that website and sign up will go live next week after we meet with the planning committee. But we have lots of things done in advantage or in preparation for that already. And then the last thing on your sheet, we've talked about this in the past, to really think about this. Who are your friends, your relatives, your acquaintances, your neighbors, your kids' friends, parents, or your internet connections? And I would ask you to write down one name, whether it's just you put down first name or you put down first and last. I would like to share that, to utilize that with our prayer warriors and say, all right, so if I put down Elliot on my sheet, that I know that it's not just me, but that I have 5 other people praying, giving me an opportunity, an open door, so that I can invite Elliot to Easter worship, and knowing that God would answer that prayer. So if you write down one name of your Frankie on your sheet, if you're comfortable doing that, and then pray for an opportunity for you to worship, or to invite them to worship. That's all I have. What are your questions or comments? So before you leave, you would have to fill out that form. You probably need pens. Huh? I wasn't thinking. I didn't give you pens. But I will send out an electronic version probably Thursday of this week with these things. Otherwise, you can leave your feedback forms here today. You can leave them on the back table, or you can give them to Mary. She just asked me where I should. But leave them on the back table would be great. Any other? Maybe just to say is that I do appreciate that you stuck around. Maybe the emphasis gets on forum, but family is really the emphasis. So I do thank God for your partnership in ministry. Every time we're gone from here on a Sunday morning, like we were last week, I hate missing this family. While it was a joy, I do say there is a value of seeing how you are united with other brothers and sisters throughout the world. And it's cool that I could just go to a church in Sarasota, Florida, and sit with them in Bible class and study the same things that we're studying, and to see how our daughter's doing in ministry. That was really neat to meet the people that she gets to serve. But what a neat thing that we're a little family here, but we're also part of a bigger family. We would be scheduled then. Our next family forum will be the 3rd Sunday of May, so that'd be May 15th. 15th. May 15th. Same time, just right after church like this. All right? Gracias. Thanks for staying. May. Yes. Oh, and then your seed packets. Sure, or you can just put them back there. Okay. Seed packets will be on the back table as well.